Welcome into another episode of Always Talking Ball with Tyler Noe and Lance Barton. Our guest today has put in a ton of work this offseason to get us ready for the 2025 college football season with yet another tremendous magazine. It's out now. You can go to pick6previews.com, get a hard copy, get a digital copy, whichever you like. Brett Ciancia of Pick Six Previews joins us. Welcome in, Brett. Let's start in the Midwest in the Big Ten where I live and where Lance lives. And you mentioned Penn State, man. I was scouring over your magazine. I was looking at the position groups. They're one of three teams to be in the top 15 in every position group alongside Texas and Ohio State. And it just seems roster-wise and position group-wise like they're as close as they've ever been to Ohio State. Is this finally the year James Franklin and Penn State, they can get over that hump, they can win some of these top five matchups and possibly get that national championship?
Yeah, I think so. Well, with Penn State, they've been so close over the years against Ohio State. They have second half leads, they have fourth quarter leads, and then they find a way to drop the game. But they're not getting blown out. They're always close in that ball game, and then they take care of business in their other 11 games. And they were great statistically last year. Part of my book is I have my advanced stats, my game grader, my opponent adjusted stats. I mean, they were top 10 in everything. So you had a stat giant last year. They made the Final Four, really was one pass away from making a national title. But then what I really liked about Penn State was in January, a lot of guys could have gone pro, a lot of mid-rounders, and most of them came back to Happy Valley. So you have a really veteran team. You have a proven quarterback. I know he struggled against Notre Dame, but really strong quarterback, great backfield at running back, two of the best in the country. Offensive line brings four starters back that were all conference. And then the last part about Penn State that I love is the coordinators. And people will bring up James Franklin, and that's a liability in some people's opinions. But what I like is the brain power around him. Now you got Andy Kotelnicki calling the offense for a second year, and then they went and stole Jim Knowles from Ohio State, arguably the best defensive mind in the game. So all that to say, I think it's an opportunity here for Penn State. They're veteran, while Oregon and Ohio State, with better recruiting profiles, are way younger and newer. So I think this is their little chance here in 2025 to go steal the conference and make a national title run. And one last note with Penn State, I put this into the book this year too, is, we know about recruiting and transfers, but how are these teams stocked with potential pros? So I put a column on the chart there for 2026 mock draft picks. I know it's early for a mock draft, but still it's a good indicator. They're number 2 in the country with 12 mock draft picks already. So a lot of pro talent there, and I think it's a good pick to win the conference.
Yeah, Brad, we know the Big Ten now, these super conferences, they're stretching from coast to coast. So we're going to head out on the West Coast here, and a team that I'm personally bullish on heading into this season is Lincoln Riley and USC. The Trojans, they lost 5 games last year by an average margin of only 3.8 points per game. Riley, he didn't go out and try to get a quarterback in the portal. So that tells me that I think he likes what he has in QB Jaden Mayava. And they return one of the better wide receiver units in the country, led by Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon. It's year 2 for stud defensive coordinator DeAnton Lynn. He really improved that Trojan D quite a bit year over year from 2023 to 2024. Just what are your thoughts on SC and the Trojans this year?
Yeah, well, good to have you on board. I'm also bullish on USC. I like it. It's kind of a race for 4th place because I see those big 3, that Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State chunk. But from there, a race for 4th place, I'm picking USC. And you're right about last year. They were better than the record showed. I know 7-6 doesn't jump off the page, but 5 one-score losses, a lot of them were late leads that they couldn't finish off. You can't do the what-if game, but if you're looking forward to 2025, that looks pretty strong. I think they can improve on that and win those close margins. When you think of USC, you think of recruiting and transfer, top 10 or top 15 in both categories. I think they were one of the biggest spenders this year. You see some lists come out about estimated spending in the portal. They were at the top of the Big Ten. So they're bringing more talent in. Second-year coordinator bonus, I like that. Second-year quarterback bonus, I like that. And it's one of my better bets for the year in terms of win totals too, because they check in at 7.5. I think they're going to crush that. I see 9+ for them, and 9-3 gets you into that playoff discussion. So I think they're ready for a breakthrough. And then high level with USC, hopefully they do have a breakthrough, because I want to see Lincoln Riley survive enough to get to next year, because right now they have the number 1 recruiting class. I know we're early, but projected wise, number 1 in the country for 2026. So I'd love to see him just bridge the gap one more year, keep those boosters and the hot seat cooled down, because I think next year could be really interesting for USC.
Yeah, Brett, you talk a lot about year 2 bonuses. But with Matt Rule in Nebraska, it is all about year 3. And his previous 2 stops, I mean, huge turnaround projects at Baylor and Temple. They drastically improved their win totals by 6-7 games apiece at those 2 stops. And then in your game grader, you talked about, I thought it was interesting, since he was hired, he's up their game grader score for 6.7 points. So he's one of the best hires of that cycle so far. Now the big question is, obviously they got to turn around and get wins on the field. Like, can they get to that 9 win mark there in Lincoln?
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right about Matt Rule. He's been a proven program builder. He did it at Baylor and Temple. Now they're waiting for the year 3 bonus here at Nebraska. And a couple areas that I think they really beefed up their roster and they needed to is first the receiver core. They went out and took #1 receivers off of 2 teams. They've got Dane Keefe from Kentucky and Isaiah Hunter from Cal. So you have the 5-star quarterback, and he's gonna improve in a second year with Raiola. You got to get weapons around him. So I think they did a nice job there. I like that. And I also like they got some protection for him up front. Took 2 starters off of proven teams with Pritchett coming from Alabama and Rocco Spindler from Notre Dame, one of the best lines in the country. So that I love the transfers they added there. Also, I think it's the year finally that their offensive line takes a step forward. We've been waiting for this pipeline to resurgence up there at offensive line. I think it's finally going to happen. They're so veteran. And then those 2 starters they pulled in just puts them over the top. So I'm looking at one of the most improved offenses in the country this year. Now, the problem is defensively, they just had their staff raided by Florida State. A lot of talent gone, 2 draft picks, I think, up front. So, how quickly can they rebuild that front 7? But offensive wise, I think they're going to improve a lot and put them into play for definitely bowl season, maybe 8-9 wins.